Hi, my name is Don Snigowski. I am a reporter on Franchise News and also founder of the site Blue Mau Mau. I was interviewed in Behind the Counter, the Untold Story of Franchising, a CNBC report, and also help guide that team into their franchising story. So I wanted to share with our readers some of those moments that really grabbed me, because I found that some of those moments are different than what I'm hearing from our readers and from other people. So this is my perspective. We're going to start off with the scary franchising moments, and then at the end I'll tell a few of the positive experiences. But well, let's start off with what I call the Franchenstein moments. All right, number one Franchenstein moment. The scary moment is when a franchisor admits to flying blind. When Cold Stone president Dan Beam says we don't keep track of the franchise's profitability, that's a big thing. Why? Well, imagine yourself in another system, not Cold Stone, but any other system, where it's Camp Bow Wow with one unit, or many of the pure franchise systems that don't have company-owned units. And imagine that you have no idea what the cash flow and the profitability of the stores are. How do you decide what direction you go into? Because those are the fundamentals of how we decide where the return on investment is. I mean, to give you an idea, let me just tell you a little story of, imagine yourself flying in a plane and the pilots are blind. And he accidentally turns and hits a control because he can't see it, and the plane plummets 15,000 feet, and then it levels off. You and the other franchisees look at each other, and the pilot gets on the intercom and he says, I'm sorry, passengers. There was a slight, we hit a little cell, and there was a slight pressure differential, but we're on course, haven't dropped any altitude, and we're right at 30,000 feet, and we're going to continue. We'll be arriving in our destination shortly. And the franchisees look at each other, and one franchisee gets really upset because this pilot had the gall to lie to them, to tell them something that wasn't the truth, because they saw the clouds and they saw the ground is much, much closer. And then another franchisee comes from peeking in the cockpit, and as he comes back and he says, lying? Who cares about lying? The pilots are blind. I mean, this is a big deal. I'm not quite sure how I describe this next phenomenon. It's where you sort of where you get inundated with information, and it obfuscates it. Just so much bulk of information actually leads you down the wrong path. And the reason it can do that, I mean, can you imagine? I have met franchisees that are really into really great analyzers, and spent a year or more analyzing their franchise system. And the problem with having a ream of this sort of disclosure document of 700 pages or more that was featured in CNBC is that it lulls you. There's just so many ways, and fine print and so forth. In a way, it sort of comforts you to know, oh, look, they're being very transparent. And it's really very, very difficult to go in all the paths that you would need to go in there. And can you imagine hiring an attorney and all the hours to spend through that? I mean, wow. In addition to that, it's not monitored by the government, right? This is, you don't know if the information contained in this is accurate or not, how much marketing fluff there is in there, probably quite a bit. You don't know. And so it lulls buyers into feeling secure when they shouldn't be secure. I hope the watcher noticed in the show how easy it was when the franchisee knew he was being watched by his franchisor that he would praise the franchisor, but how difficult it was and what the penalties were for saying something disparaging about the franchise system. Cecil Roll, one of the franchisees, said that he had a gag clause. You saw other franchisees in that system, in Camp Bow Wow, that were very reluctant to say anything. And so this is a problem. There are legal reasons in the agreements, and then also soft reasons on why whining lips are zipped with gag clauses and the threat of retaliation if you say anything wrong. Certain perks can be removed if you're a franchisee. So franchisees are very careful about saying anything negative about the franchise system. It isn't just the CEO of Camp Bow Wow, Heidi Ganahl, that dished out bad information. Her explanation that she cannot reveal store profits to buyers because the FTC doesn't allow it to is widely circulated among franchise salespersons. Of course, they would gladly share such information with buyers if only they could. Of course, they can. This myth is but one of many. There's a lot of misleading information used by the industry that can lead franchise investors into a lot of trouble. It's a minefield out there. President Obama visited other burger joints around Washington, D.C. in 2009. I'm sure they individually grew. But when he visited a Five Guys, it drew local attention in many, many markets around the United States. And then a few months later, Zagat actually came out and rated the brand as having the best burger of all major fast food chains. Its fries, number 2. In the show, the brand's CEO Jerry Morrell said that the chain grew by over 200 stores after Zagat rated its burgers. Clearly, one of the wonderful benefits of franchising is the ability to take positive events like this and leverage the brand. We saw second-generation franchise owners in the Dunkin' system. Can you imagine the edge in running a business that a business person has when they grow up watching mom and dad running Dunkin' Donut shops? You grow up, you become a corporate executive, maybe a top-notch attorney, and then mom and dad ask you to come back and run the business. What a competitive advantage such a chain would have. But franchisors struggle figuring out how to tap into the deep pools of talent of franchisees. Some ask these franchisees, these entrepreneurs, to be on advisory councils, dishing out advice to the franchisor's employees. In Dunkin's case, the franchisees don't just advise. They own and run distribution centers that take over the supply chain function of the brand.